Alright guys, we're going to be taking a ride in my 2011 Smart ForTwo Passion. That's what the key looks like. It's relatively enormous for such a small car. Alright, we got in the car. Sorry for slamming the door a little too hard. We're going to start it up right here.
You have in order to feed your family.
We listen to, just so you guys know, National Public Radio out in New York, you know, to get a little bit smarter. Since this is a Smart ForTwo, we really want to live up to the hype of being smart. Alright, we started her up. Let's buckle up and go on our ride. So seatbelt's kind of annoying in this car, so I have this little clip here, this belt pretensioner. Kind of just holds the belt a little bit more comfortable for me. Okay, this car has 61,408 miles. Shifter right here on the floor. Gonna shift to reverse and go. So you could tell that the gauge cluster now indicates reverse. We could safely drive. And we are loaded to capacity. This is a two-person car, and here we got two people, everybody. Two. Okay. Shift to drive. Now we're in regular automatic mode. The car does not have power steering, but as you could tell, if I drive even a little bit, it steers just fine. Okay, shifted to second gear on automatic mode. Right now we're going to take a little bit of a drive just in automatic, and I'll show you guys some of the, I guess, well, hated things about this car is the way the transmission kind of shifts and lunges when it's in auto mode. So shift to second. Ride's pretty rough, of course. If you had a perfect road, it would be no issue. Alright, here we go. Second gear. Let's get it to shift to third. Third gear. Eventually it'll shift to fourth, and we're in fourth gear. We're only doing 30 miles an hour, so the gears are pretty short in this car. You can also do your own shifting. You have these column shifters right here, paddles. If you go down or up, let's say go down, now you could see the gauge cluster indicates we're in third gear. There is no tachometer in this vehicle, which is kind of bad, but there are models with a tachometer. It will be right here, and a clock. So my clock is built in. It is 9:30 a.m. right now, and we're driving. You can see the road is really poorly paved. We're gonna make a left turn here, and the car will automatically downshift, so I'm not touching anything. You could tell it's shifting to second gear and to first gear, and we'll just accelerate in first here. I'm gonna make a left turn. To upshift, I do have to press the paddle, so we just shifted to second. Now we're going to shift to third. As you could tell, let me downshift a little bit. When you're driving, the car does tell you when to shift. You could see the gauge cluster is indicating an up arrow when I get up there in the RPMs, indicating that I should shift. So pretty cool system actually. And the reason it does this, mainly with the vibration, I wouldn't say vibration, but kind of the back and forth lunging, is because this car does have a very short chassis. The overall length of this car, I think, is about it's exactly 112 inches. So very short wheelbase and platform, obviously, because you know it's used for parking in tight spaces. But also the transmission in this car is basically a manual with an automatic clutch. So it does feel like there's like a little gnome in the back there pressing in the clutch for you, except that they're doing a terrible job. But they always do the job, but just kind of poorly, like they're tired or something. You know, they need breakfast, which is actually where we're going right now. We're gonna go get breakfast. So I decided to have a little bit of a POV drive in my Smart ForTwo. So enjoy the ride. I'm gonna give you guys a couple scenes here of just driving and not talking. So I'm driving this car relatively smooth. I'm not over-revving the engine. I'm shifting at a pretty good RPM. And the car has no problem keeping up with traffic. Of course, the gears are a little high. You could tell I'm only doing about 30. I'm in 4th gear. But that's only because I'm trying to conserve fuel economy. I do use premium only, and this car does get, the way I drive, from 39 to about 43 miles a gallon. And this is a 1-liter 3-cylinder rated at 70 horsepower. And really 70 horsepower for a 1-liter motor is a relatively high output, considering a brand new Dodge Charger with the 5.7-liter Hemi comes in at 370 horsepower and 5.7 liters. So that's basically, you know, about 60 horsepower per liter, which is lower than this car. The brakes are very good. It's a dual channel ABS system, very reliable. I've had no issues. Now, some people say that, well, how's the stability on the highway? Well, stability on the highway is fantastic. Actually, I've done 65, I think, the fastest in this car, only because I live in New York City. And you really shouldn't drive fast, guys. But stability is great. The car has a very low center of gravity. It looks like it's a tall car, but it's only because there's a whole bunch of headroom. You could tell how much headroom I have. Like, look at where my hand is. It's far away from me. The cabin itself is pretty cavernous. You don't feel like this is a small car. It feels very wide and tall. But really they've achieved that with pretty good planning. There's no armrest. You could tell that there's no armrest. So, you know, if you're kind of on a first date, a second date, or want to get, you know, a little bit close to people, here you go, you're close. You're not going to get closer than that, right, in a car. That's not why you should buy this car. You should buy this car because it's cool. I personally think it's cool. It's relatively rare. It is a rear drive, rear engine vehicle. There's really nothing like this on the market, and there hasn't been for a long time. In America, small cars like this are just not popular. I guess some of the reason could be attributed to the fact that basically for what you get, this is relatively expensive. This was about a $16,000 to $17,000 car in this trim level, which at that time you really could have just bought a Toyota Corolla, or Nissan Sentra, or a Honda Civic. So, you know, you're getting a two-person vehicle with really not much other than good fuel economy. Now, those other vehicles also have good fuel economy, but it's uncomparable, in my opinion. This car really is only purchased for people that need parking in really tight spots. You know, if maybe you're going to be commuting to the bus or your local train station, and most of the time you're just by yourself. This would be a perfect car to get. In terms of maintenance, nothing special here really. If you take care of this car, I do oil changes on this myself. You use Mobil 1 synthetic Formula M, which is recommended by Mercedes for this particular car. You could buy that oil in a 5-quart jug at Walmart for like 25 bucks. You get yourself a $8 Fram ultra synthetic oil filter. Boom, you got, you know, 10,000 miles there. I do that myself. Of course, a smart dealership, I did get a price quote, and it was about $180. Now, for a non-premium vehicle, that's kind of excessive in my opinion. That's why I really just choose to do it myself. Let's take a look at this. We have a Nissan Gtr right here. Nice car with some kind of flat paint on it. Personally not into the flat look, but you could tell that car is worth money. Is it as cool as this? Hell no. Right, babe?
Right.
Right, babe?
Right, babe.
Right, babe. That's a reference to the great late Rich Piana right there. So there it is, guys. I'm going to cut this video at this point. If there's anything else in terms of details you want to know, please let me know, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of this drive, getting about 40 miles a gallon in this great car. Till next time.